How many of you have ever been on a roller coaster? Well, I'm from Florida. This is roller coaster heaven, okay? Florida, we've got Disney World, we've got Epcot, we've got Busch Gardens, we've got Boardwalk and Baseball. What else have we got? We've got lots and lots of roller coasters. And I don't know about you, but what excites me about a roller coaster is the up and the down, right? It's the higher you go, the better it feels, and the faster you drop, the more exciting it is when you shoot back up again. Let's suppose that Donald Trump, well, he's broke now, but let's assume he wasn't. What goes around comes around, huh? But let's assume when he had all that money that he built this huge, huge roller coaster. And this roller coaster was a mile in each direction, and it was 10 feet off the ground. And you stood in line for 2 hours to get on it. When you got on it, you sat down, you go, oh, I'm so excited. And you put the little lock down. They say, everybody please hold on, we're leaving the station. And then it starts. And you're thinking, oh my gosh, this is it. This is the part of life. We're going to start going up now. We're start going up. And you just keep going. And this goes for an entire mile in the left direction. And you come around that corner thing, and this is it. This is the part where we go way up. And you're going back the other direction now, another mile. And it comes back around, they go, please get out the left side and take your purses and bags with you. Would you be going, yeah, let's do that again. Right? Forget it. No roller coaster is any fun if it doesn't have ups and downs. And let me tell you, that's why we're in life. Because life has ups and downs. How many of you, in the pre-existence, I know you remember this, how many of you, if they said, you're going to go there, you're going to have no problems, you're going to have no excitement, and you're going to achieve no goals, but you're going to have no depression, let's do it. Forget it. Forget it. You'd stay there. You say, well, you know, I don't know, let's see here. It's almost time for Wayne's World. Maybe I'll just hang around here. Wayne's World! Wayne's World! Yeah. Anyway, so that's why we're here, because we knew it was going to be a roller coaster. And you guys, you should stop getting pumped and nervous every time you go for a down. You're all here on the roller coaster. You're all going up. You're all going down. And you're like, every time it goes down, you're going, oh my gosh, the Lord's punishing me. He's not. It's part of the game. It's part of the plan. We're going to have ups and we're going to have downs. That's why we're here. Let me just give you an example of what an up and a down is. I'd like to be able to pull something out of your personal life and embarrass you, but I don't know any of you because I'm from Florida. So I'll have to pull it out of my life, so just bear with me and don't laugh too much. Now, my family converted to the church when I was about this tall, which was first grade. Don't laugh at my life. No, I was first grade. I had a little brother who was in kindergarten. He's now on a mission in Hawaii. Anyway, I'm in first grade. My brother's in kindergarten, and we have a little sister who was just like 3 years old. And we're converts to the church. You know you have to be a member of the church for 1 year before you can go to the temple, right? To be sealed for time and all eternity. So we'd gone for 1 year. It was that exciting time. There was this couple who brought our family into the church who said, we'll take you to the temple. Now this time we were living in Phoenix, Arizona. I like Phoenix. Not. Speak there. No, this was when you guys were still probably in grade school. But we went to the L.A. temple, all right? We drove from Phoenix. We wanted to go to the L.A. temple to be sealed. Now at this time, I don't know how well developed Arizona and California is. But at that time, there was a long stretch of drive. You go across desert land. Now, this couple that took us, you have to understand, we went in a station wagon. Get a visual picture here, okay? All right? We're in a station wagon. It's a pretty old beater, but it runs. There's no air conditioning. In the front seat of the station wagon, here, we're facing this way so you can get a cool visual picture, all right? So in the front seat of the station wagon is this couple who's taken us, right? And in the middle seat is my mom and dad. And in the back end of the station wagon is me, my brother, and my sister. We're laid out blankets and pillows and those little games where you draw them and you pull the top off and it erases and you do it again. That stupid thing. Parents think it'll keep you busy for hours. Here, just play with this. Gee, Mom, thanks. Anyway, so this is the station wagon we're in. And we're cruising across from Phoenix to L.A. It's the middle of August. You know how hot that is. I just heard on the radio this morning, for those of you from Phoenix, yesterday they hit a record high of 120 degrees. I swear. Cool, huh? Yeah, I love that town. Anyway, so we're in this car, no air conditioning, August. There's 2, 4, 5, 6, 7 of us in there, right? Now, you have to understand, at this time, there wasn't a whole lot of development. You know, you drive down this long, long road in the middle of nowhere, and then you'll come across a gas station and a restaurant, and then you eat and you get gas, and then you go on to the next one, and you just keep going like that, right? So this is what we were doing. And we come across, you always know when you're coming across a long stretch because there'll be a sign that says, no fuel, no food for the next 90,000 miles. And so you got to stop and get some gas and get some food, all right? So we're cruising across here, and we come to this point, all right, last time to eat, last time to get gas, so let's all pull over and eat. So we pull over, they fill up the car with gas, we go into this little schmoozy cafe, and we have a wonderful, wonderful lunch. I had this great BLT platter with all these fries and a big chocolate shake, and we all just had a good lunch. You don't have to eat, you just want to sleep. So we get back in the car, we're snoozing, except the driver. And there's the two up front, so you have to get the picture again. There's the two parents, this is after we get back in the car, two people who are driving. In the middle seat's my mom and dad, but this time my little kindergarten brother is sleeping across their lap. And then in the back end is me and my sister sound asleep on all the pillows and blankets. So we're sleeping, we're going clear across this middle of nowhere, and I'm sound asleep and having good dreams about those fries and stuff. And obviously you couldn't tell that I love food. Anyway, I'm sound asleep, doing really fine, and I wake up to this blood-curdling scream out of my little sister. I mean, ah! Just screaming! And I shot out, and I said, you know, and the guy driving the car said, and I looked over at her, and she looks like, for a split second, it looks like her brains are coming out of her head. And her skin's coming off her body. I'm going, and then I scream, ah! And then I look, and then it dawns on me, I threw up while I was sleeping. But this was no just ordinary spit, okay? It was in her hair and her ears and her eyelashes, and it was... So anyway, so we are driving down the road, screaming, the stuff's on the blankets and pillows and us. And my mom's looking back going, oh my gosh, pull over the car. So we pull over the car. You've never seen adults pile out of a car so fast. They were out that car. They run around to the back end of the station wagon, they open it up, and they're all backing up and going, ooh. My dad, I mean, he's a big boy. He's a wimp when it comes to that stuff. He's over in the ditch, you know, checking out the grass. So they all stand there looking at us going, what are we going to do? We're another 58 miles to the next stop in the middle of the desert. It's still probably 110,000 degrees outside, and these kids are soaked in their lunch. And so they said, there's nothing we can do but take the pillows and blankets, which we've now pretty much destroyed, and leave them behind. And just let the kids sit in the back, and we'll just go to the next stop. Whew. So that was a nice long 58 miles, I got to tell you. The wind's blowing, so it's baking everything in, you know, it's hot. In the front seat of the station wagon is that couple, my mom and dad, and my little brother. Seriously, they're all up in the very front. Nobody's in the back end of the station wagon. The windows are down. My mom's out like a dog, you know, letting the wind blow. And we got to the gas station. We got there, we pulled in. There's no showers or anything, so I just had to take my sister under the sink, you know, and do one of these deals. And we changed our clothes and stuff, and they cleaned out to the back of the car. And this was a point where here we are, right? We're heading for a temple trip. Our roller coaster's up. All of a sudden, Troy spits. We're down. The roller coaster's down. Now, what was supposed to be an incredibly spiritual experience to the temple was not. We ended up spending about 2.5 hours at this station. The gas station guy, he was laughing his little head off. And finally got it cleaned up, got back in the car. Nobody would sit next to me. I don't know why. And we said a prayer and said, okay, let's make the rest of this trip worth it. We're already out in the middle of nowhere, halfway to L.A. And we did. My mom, she's a pretty spiritual woman. She held us together. We sang a lot of church songs, and they didn't feed me for 2 days, but we got to the temple. We had an incredible experience. We were sealed for time and all eternity. We returned home. Everything was fine, and it ended up being an incredible experience. And except for that one little moment, which is on the back of our minds, which still goes down in our book of experiences. But what you don't seem to understand, now that's an up and a down. What you don't seem to understand is that every up and down link somewhere. It doesn't make sense now, I know. But if you look back and I don't do it now because I don't want you to all drift off in Twilight Zone. But if you look back later at your life, you'll see some of the ups and downs, and you'll go clear back maybe 3 or 4 years, and you go, I never understood why my parents made me move in the middle of the school year and make new friends. And now you're living in some place where you probably have a boyfriend or a girlfriend, or you've got a good job, or your dad has a better job and he can do better things for you, or something. There's always some reason why these things happen. They're a chain of events. So what I want to do is I want to just share with you, because again, I can't suck it out of your little mind. I want to suck it out of my little mind and give you a chain of events out of my life, a real short one, just so you can get an idea of how these things work. And then we'll diagram the roller coaster for you and you'll understand the whole concept, okay? So, the youngest person here is 14, right? Everything's 14 or above? Well, anyway, I was 12, so let's go back that far. From 12 to today, all right, this is essentially the roller coaster that my life took, all right? And it starts out, I'm a football fanatic. I love football. Yeah! Woo! All right. Anyway, so from 12 years old, I grew up loving football. My dad played high school ball, my dad played college football, my dad played pro ball for the Kansas City Chiefs before he was injured and left out. So I grew up loving football. And I never knew you could play as a kid. I always assumed that when you got into high school, you tried out and you played. I didn't know that when you were 12 years old, you could play football. So my dad and I were driving to the grocery store one day, and we're driving down the road, and I looked to my side, and I see this kid. He's about my size, about my age, and he's wearing a football uniform. I said, Dad, pull over, look. That was my voice before puberty. And I said, look, that guy's playing football. So we pull over. My dad says, excuse me there, son, can you tell me where you're playing football and all this stuff? And so my dad got the name of the place and the coach, and we went over there, and we met the coach, and he let me on the team. I was like, yes. My roller coaster was up. Golly. I'm thinking, this is cool. I'm on a football team. I'm wearing the big bad uniform. I'm 12 years old. I would make up excuses at school. I knew there was a practice after school at 7 p.m. I'd ask my teacher at 2:30 if I could leave because I had to put my uniform on. So I'd come back into class wearing my shoulder pads. I'm going to football practice. Me, football. Thank you. And I'd wear it for 3 hours because I loved it. I didn't care if I could play or not. I just loved being a part of that football image. And as a matter of fact, I didn't play that entire season. I rode the bench. I had the whitest pants of anybody on the team. I mean, they were so clean. I was always proud of my clean uniform. I didn't know it was because I wasn't playing. And till the second to the last game, I'm sitting there on the bench, still doing what I always do, playing with that little board where you pull the top off and erase it. And the coach says, Dunn, come here. Me? And I was all excited, and I got down there. I said, yes, coach, yes. He goes, all right, I'm going to put you in. This is the play. I want you to go out there, get in the huddle, tell them, be calm, play tough. Gives me a little slap on the booty. You know how they do that. I'm like, oh, my gosh. I'm looking back at my mom. I'm like, so I go running out there, and I get down in the huddle. The huddle's in a big circle. And I get down in the middle on one knee, and I say, okay, all right, this is the play. It's 21 base. I start laughing. I go, you guys are so stupid. You're all in the wrong huddle. My first play, I was in the wrong huddle. Yep. All of a sudden I realize, and I stand up out of the circle looking around, and my teeth are going, come here! My mom's got this bag over her head. It was terrible. It was humiliating. So I finally ran over to the right huddle, got in the middle there. I'm supposed to get in the middle of the circle, and they give you the play, and they're like kicking me and everything. Anyway, that was the second to last game, and that was the last time I played, believe it or not. And the next game I didn't play. I just sat there and rode the pine with my still clean white pants. So my roller coaster was down. Bad time. But I met a friend over the summertime, and he said, next summer, let's go out and play for the same team. Now we're going to be big 13 teenagers. I said, cool. We'll play out for the same team. We went to the original tryouts where you just kind of go through an interview, and they ask you where you live, make sure you're in the right region. And we made it. My best friend and I were on the same team. My roller coaster was back up again. So there's the first day of practice, and we're out there, and they have everybody lined up in these different little lines. Like one line's getting their helmets, one line's getting their cleats, one line's getting weighed, one's getting measured, one's getting everything, all the way down the line, and just go from line to line. I'm sitting there in one of these lines. I see my best friend in the next line. We're like going, yeah, we're bad. Look over there, my dad's over there talking to the coach. I'm thinking, cool. I'm going to suck up to the coach, give me a good spot. That's good. And we're all excited, and then I see my dad go, Troy, come here. I said, be right back. And I went, yeah, Dad. He goes, listen, we got a problem. I said, what? And he said, the 13-year-old league has a height and weight limit, and you're too big to play football. I said, I'm too big to what? They said, yeah, there's too many mothers here who have boys, and they're afraid you're going to hurt them, and you can't play. I said, really? So what's that mean? He said, you can't play. You're finished. So I went back through each line, and I gave back my helmet, I gave back my cleats, gave back my shoulder pads, gave my best friend a little handshake, and walked out. And I didn't play then for 2 years because of that rule. Finally, I get into 9th grade, where they want you big, and they want you tall. And I walked onto that team, and they immediately gave me a starting spot, and they immediately started building up the plays around me. My roller coaster was going, ooh, you're getting fast. So now I'm back on top and going, that's all right. I want to go back to that place where those dudes told me I couldn't play and stomp on their heads because I'm bad now. And so I enjoyed my 9th grade year. I had a great 9th grade year. Now, I don't know how it is where you're from. Where I'm from, 9th grade is the last year of junior high and 10th goes into high school. I know some of you have that differently, but that's how it was for me. So anyway, so we're going into 10th grade that summer, and I'm starting to get excited and lift weights and run and pump iron. And because I live out in the country, and I'm getting ready to go to this new high school because we're going from junior high to high. One day, a new kid moves into our church, and he goes to the city high school, which is big. And he plays football, and he's big. And he said, hey, won't you come work out with me this summer at the big weight room? I said, all right. So I start traveling in from out of town to go to this big city high school weight room with him during the summertime. Over the summer, I met the head coach of the big city high school. He said, hi there, what's your name? I said, I'm Troy Dunn. And he said, glad to meet you, son. Oh, well, how old are you? I said, I'm going to be a sophomore. He said, well, you're pretty big. I said, well, thank you. He said, why don't you come play for our team? I said, well, I can't. I live out there in the country. He goes, what if I can work it out? I can transfer your paperwork and get you into this school. I said, well, what would the benefit be there? He said, well, you'll play a lot, and you'll probably get a better football scholarship because we're a big high school, and the big colleges come visit us. I said, I'm there. So I went back, told my mom and dad. They supported it 100%, put me through there, got to high school my sophomore year, killer year. Great year. Halfway through it, I'm still a starter on the JV team, and they make an announcement one day after practice. All right, everybody be in the locker room in 20 minutes because we're going to announce the junior varsity players who are going to move up to the varsity team. I'm like, oh yeah, gee, I wonder who that'll be. So I'm pumped, I'm excited. We get there. As we're walking into the meeting, the coach stops me and he pulls me outside and he goes, just, by the way, I just want to tell you something before we go into the meeting, that when you transfer schools, you have to have a 1-year ineligibility for varsity. I said, you gotta be kidding me. He said, no, I'm sorry, I don't know if I told you that beginning or not, but that's the way it goes. Maybe next year. I went, maybe next year? Maybe next year, no? So my roller coaster was down. And I thought, this is it, man. This is weak. So I got ready. I said, that's it. Next year is going to be a killer year for me. So I started running over the summer and lifting weights and doing more of everything and getting ready. And going into the junior year, it was an incredible year. I had the best year I've ever had, bar none. The best year of football I ever had, my junior year of high school. I was a fullback, believe it or not. You guys who play football, I ran a 4.740, believe it or not. And behind me was our tailback, Lydell Carr. Does anybody know Lydell Carr? You guys should, from Arizona. He plays for the Phoenix Cardinals now. But anyway, he was in my high school. He was our tailback. He was a senior, and I was a junior. Anytime you have a senior on the team who's incredible, and all the colleges are recruiting him, guess what they do? They go, he's just an amazing running back. Who's blocking for him? And they go, big white boy right there, Troy Dunn. So then all of a sudden, the recruiting comes down on me. And now I'm getting all the exposure. And so my junior year, I was already hearing from over 37 colleges my junior year. I was going, this is incredible. My high school coach, of course, anytime you get recruiting, he likes you too, because then he wants all the colleges to like him. So he said, I'll tell you what we're going to do next year. I had a great junior year. We ended it. We were state champions and all-state runner-up for me. And he says, this summer, I want you to work out with me personally. This is my head coach talking to me. And he said, we're going to redesign our offense. You guys, any of you familiar with the old Washington Redskin offense? Was John Riggins, the one guy in the back? He said, we're going to do a John Riggins offense. We're going to have you in the back, and most of the running is going to be built around you. It's going to be your offense. What was my roller coaster? Man, was it up. I was going, gee, yeah. So I was pumped. I was ready. This is what I've been working out for years. All those times I was told I couldn't play. I was too big to play. I rode the bench. I was in the wrong huddle. All these things built up, and here it was time for me to have my big senior year. And I was going to go out there and be the star. So here it is. I work out all summer. I'm ready. I'm primed. I'm pumped. First day, you know what 2 days are? 2 days when you have 2 practices a day until school starts. And they're killer practices. They're tough, but they make you into a man. So there we are. First day, 2 days. I'm kind of walking around. You know, my head's a little too big. Bigger than it should be. I'm seeing all these little sophomores are all going, oh my gosh, all these seniors are so big. I'm like going, hey sophomore, how you doing? Glad you could see me. Yeah. Just walking around, having a good time. Coach says, all right, let's line up for the dummy drills. You know what that is? It's where you lay down these big dummy pads, and you got to go through them like this, and you got to go backwards again, and then you got to go sideways. You do all these drills to these dummies. I am a pro at this. I did this all summer long. I was in the middle state all by myself. I could do it anyway. I could do one leg, one arm. I could do them anyway. So the day comes, he says, let's go through those dummy drills. So we're going through those dummy drills, and I'm rolling, and I'm checking. I can see all the sophomores are watching me going, man, look how he does it. Like, boom, 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 boom. Boom, 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 boom. I trip over this bag, shatter my right foot. That fast. It rolled underneath me, my entire body collapsed on it, and the next guy in line fell on top of me, and the right side of my foot just went into powder. The bone just crushed. My roller coaster was big time. So I was bummed. I tried to get up and act like it didn't hurt and tried to like run on one foot, and of course they could tell something was wrong. So they put me in a cast, and that was the end of that. So I rehabilitated as quick as I could, did as much workout as I could over the football season. I came in time for the last 5 games of the season. Was able to come back, wasn't quite as fast, wasn't quite as strong, but was able to get some recruiting. Anyway, ended up going to Pittsburgh State University on a football scholarship and get paid to play football. So once again, my roller coaster went. Okay, maybe not as high as I wanted, but it went back up. So there I was in college. Roller coasters up. Bear with me now. We're getting through this roller coaster. Things are going well. I don't know how many of you are getting ready to go through any recruiting in any sports, but if you are, we need to talk on a one-on-one basis because I got to prepare you for some stuff. There are a lot of promises and a lot of guarantees that were made to me going into college as an athlete that when I got there didn't exist. Nada, no. All right? Whether it was money or prizes or things for my dorm room or anything, it wasn't there. So I got there instantly. I was depressed. I played, had a good time, but it wasn't the same. It became a job. It became a point where you score a touchdown, you get some gas money. You fumble the ball, you lose your stereo. I mean, it was just this kind of job thing. I said, man, this is not it. And so even though I was majoring in radio television, which is my love and my life, my grades were dropping because I had no interest in anything. I was depressed. So my roller coaster was down. So at Christmas break, I told my parents I wasn't going back to school. I didn't go back to school. And I decided I'm going to set out in the world and I'm going to make it without these guys. I'm Mr. Radio Television. I'll do it. I'll do it. So I went out and started applying for radio jobs and stuff. Nothing happened. I sold vacuums. I sold telephone systems. I sold used cars. I did everything but what I was really supposed to be doing, what I wanted to do. Because I wasn't able to get out of that down rut in my roller coaster. Finally decided I got to start looking back up again. This roller coaster's got to go back up sometime. So I started focusing on what I really wanted to do. So I got back out there on the street and I started going to radio stations again looking for a job. I'd only done a radio disc jockey job one time when I was 15 years old and I was on an AM radio station. It was a high school deal, no big deal. But I went in there and said, this is what I've done and I really want to do it. They gave me a great job at a top 40 radio station outside of Kansas City. Anybody from Kansas City? Killer. V100. And I started out and they said, okay, well, I'll put you on the air midnight to 6. You can't talk. Just play the tapes. Cool. I'm like, cool. I'm on the radio? No problem. Boom, 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 playing tapes. Gets a little better. He goes, all right, top of the hour. You can just say the time. Cool. No. Hey, it's 5 o'clock. Boom, Then he goes, okay, you can say the call letters and the time. It's V100 and it's 5 o'clock. He says, okay, now you can throw in your name. This is like weeks. Hi, I'm Troy Dunn. This is V100 and it's 5 o'clock. Finally, he says, well, you can just cut loose. And I had a great time. Hi, I'm Troy Dunn. This is V100. We're going to keep this 100,000 watt needle shaker bouncing. The nights are cool. The women are hot. And we've got the hot ones. Here's a brand new one from Madonna and the all new Hot 105. And I had a good time. I had a great time. I said, this is what it's all about. Radio. This is my life. I'm going to do this forever. And at the time I was in the young men's presidency of our ward, and one of the priests in our ward worked for Domino's Pizza. And he calls up one night and says, dude, I'll bring you a free pizza if you let me hang out in the station. I said, okay, no problem. So he brings me a pizza. He comes in. I'm showing him around the station. I'm on the air. And the request lines are ringing. You know, those ones you guys call. Hey, can you play a song? I get so tired of that. I could talk to you about that sometime too. But anyway, so all the lights are ringing, and I'm fixing to go on the air and introduce a song. So I just said to my friend, I said, Matt, listen, go ahead and pick up that phone and just say, V100, what can I play for you? Because I got to go on the air. He said, cool. He was all excited, you know. So anyway, so I'm on the air, and I see him over there, and you can't hear once I put the headphones on. You just see him going. So I finished the song. I go, who is it? He goes, it's your boss. He wants to know why I'm answering the phone. I said, oh man. Because we have this like really strict security problem with the radio station because too many freakos are out there that want to mess up DJs. You know, I got beat up twice as a disc jockey for telling Oklahoma Sooner jokes. So there's incredibly tight security. So Mike Boss gets on and starts screaming and ranting and raving and getting all upset. And I'm like, he goes, my church. He said, it's Pete. All right, I'll see you then. And he comes down to the station, wrecks the door open, comes in screaming. DJs have big egos anyway. And he comes in, and I'm right in the middle of the song. I said, pull out my headphones, and I handed them to him. I said, you're on the air. And I left. Gone. And that was the end of my radio. Down. Man, this roller coaster is getting too much for me. I'm thinking, I can't do this anymore. My dad tells me about a friend of mine who is a movie broker. You know what a movie broker is? It's somebody who finances movies. It's not he has the money, but he gets together, people says, okay, Madonna's making a new movie, it's $20 million, you give me 10, you give me 5, and you give me 5, and we're going to put it together, and you're going to own a piece of the movie. He's a movie broker, okay? That's what a movie broker is. So he's in New York City. My dad says, well, you know, he's a movie broker. Maybe if you go up and meet him, you can get into the movies or something, right? Typical kid from Kansas, and I'm like, okay, all right, New York City, I'll be a star. And so I make a grand exit. Which don't ever do this, okay? Until you know something's real, don't ever make a grand exit. I had a farewell party for all my friends. I had big Hollywood signs and banners everywhere. Sold all my furniture of my apartment, everything. Told everybody, babe, next time you see me, you'll be reading about me. Whistle. And took off. Got to New York City, realized that this guy I knew was definitely a bigwig in the business. He took me to some Democratic dinners. I got to meet some big-name people and talk to some big things. And he told me about a couple of people who were going to get me jobs on a movie crew, and I was going to work my way up. I'm like, yeah. So my roller coaster was going way... And then I spent 2 weeks with this guy, and we did all the fun stuff. He showed me all around town. Oh, let's go have dinner at Hard Rock Cafe, and let's go down here to the Radio City Music Hall and see a play. And we did all this fancy stuff. You know what? He never really introduced me to anybody that was going to do anything. He was just all a bunch of talk. So after about 3 weeks of this, I'm realizing this guy is a hoax. He's just somebody that wants to look big who isn't. He wasn't even a movie broker. He was a movie broker agent, which is way down here near Pond Scum. So I got back on an airplane and flew back home to all my friends that I'd made the big grand exit. So my roller coaster was down. Walked into my apartment that night, same night that I arrived. Walked in the apartment, dropped my luggage. Walked in, you know how you're depressed and you just want to be? Like, don't even try to cheer me up. And I walked in, didn't turn on the lights, went over to the radio, turned on some real slow songs, you know, it's just something that really, really depressed me. And have you ever laid on your couch where you lay upside down with your head down? I laid there. I'm such a jerk. Just so bummed. So bummed. All of a sudden it said to me, okay, I remembered a quote that my mom told me one time, and you remember this because it's very simple, and it'll save you a trip to New York City, all right? The quote is, bloom where you stand. You know what that means? Do what you can with what you got. Quit trying to go somewhere else and think somebody else is going to help you do it. Do it for yourself with what you've got. No excuses. So I said, okay, fine. What do I want to do? If I could do anything, what would I do? And I got up, I flipped on the light, I pulled out a yellow legal pad. I said, if I could do anything, I'd have my own television show. I said, okay. So I called it Video Splash, music video show, which is now in syndication, but it wasn't then. And I sat down and said, if I made a music video show, I want to keep my LDS standards, so I can't play certain videos. But I want it to still be fun. I still want to do some hot backstage interviews. And I want to meet the pros and make it look great. So I got up the next morning, opened up the Yellow Pages. There's 3 phone numbers in the phone book if you look under television broadcasting. ABC, CBS, and NBC, the local affiliates. I called ABC. I said, hi, my name is Troy Dunn. I was a radio disc jockey, but I have an idea for a great television show. He said, sorry, we don't have the budget for it. Ping! Call up CBS. He said, okay, hi, my name is Troy Dunn. I was a former radio disc jockey, and I have a great idea for a new television show. I'm sorry, but we play to an older crowd, and you sound too young and too hyper for us. Thank you. Goodbye. Call up NBC. Same thing. Hi, my name is Troy Dunn. I'm a former radio disc jockey, and I have a great idea for a hot television show. He said, why don't you come in and talk to me? I thought I was ready to go. Oh, thanks anyway. Really? Okay. Oh my gosh, I got all my notes together, piled them up, jumped in the car, drove out there to the station. I said, here's what I want to do. Here's how I picture it looking. Here's how I think it should be. I think we should do this and this and this and this. What do you think? He goes, well, first of all, I think you have absolutely no knowledge of television. I've never heard anybody talk about so many things they know nothing about. I'm like going, yeah, all right. Okay, thank you very much. He goes, but I appreciate your enthusiasm and your energy level. I think I can guide that for you. So to make a long story short, he financed the entire television show. We went on the air. It was #1 in its time slot. Pepsi-Cola sponsored the show. We did backstage interviews with, I don't know if you know any of them now, but Duran Duran, Whitney Houston, the Jets, Phil Collins, and then some gross people. Poison and Rat. Jerks. Anyway, we did some killer things. We had an incredible time. The show was hot. He gave me a partner. You know why it was hot? It was not just my ideas. He gave me this guy who didn't have great ideas, but he had good technical ability. He could take something and say, I could say, okay, this is how I see it looking, and he could make it happen on the screen. And that's what he did. But you know what happened? As the show got more successful, and we got more successful, for some reason, our values started to separate. I was still thinking humble, you know, if I mess up, if I don't take the sacrament, if I don't fast, the Lord's going to take all this away, I got to keep on the straight and narrow. And he's like going, we got a limousine now, we're doing backstage interviews, we got every backstage ticket to any concert we want to go to, what can I do with these? So he starts using these things and abusing these things. Every time I wanted to use a limousine to go out and do a backstage interview, he was out with somebody who was below the drinking age, involved in immoral acts. Or he was trading his backstage concert tickets for drugs. And this show just kept getting worse and worse and worse. I'd be on the set, hosting the show, watching the videos come across the monitor and introducing them, all the ones I'd picked. All of a sudden this raunchy thing would come across. And I go, and it's too late. You know, I'm taping, I'm doing the show now, I got to do it. And we go through this crud video. And afterwards I go, what was that? He'd say, just want to catch you off guard. And the show started going down. And the ratings dropped. And he and I fought all the time. And finally we took it off the air. And I was finished. And my roller coaster was down. Right. So then, I took my girlfriend. I said, let's get married. My fiance. I baptized her. And we went to the temple. Atlanta temple. We got married. Got a great job offer in Miami, Florida. Went down there, became very, very good friends with this guy who I was working for, and he was helping me get into the business world and learn things. Now, he was like my mentor. I learned everything I could from this guy. He helped me get to where I was going. My roller coaster was way up. Yes. Temple marriage and a great job and out of Kansas. What more could a guy ask for? So, somewhere along the lines with this company, this guy that I was working for, this guy who was so successful, this guy that I was admiring and watching and learning from, I get a call one day that he went out behind a mall and shot himself in the head. And that he killed himself because he couldn't handle business anymore and didn't think that he had a future. Well, gee, I wonder where my future was invested. It was in this guy. So when he shot himself, my future died. So my wife and I said, we're out of here. Let's go to Fort Myers, because we heard there was a little business there we could buy for almost no money and build it. So we moved to Fort Myers with our roller coaster dragging bottom, thinking, I can't believe this. It's one thing after another. It's one thing after another. We get to Fort Myers, get this business. My parents come in on it as partners. We come together as a family. We start building this business. It starts getting more successful. I branch off from my father, and he takes his division, and I take my division, and things are going well. And our roller coaster's starting to climb, and it's starting to climb higher, and it's starting to get higher. And then I go in with a partner named Russ Whitney who does motivational seminars, and we get into doing motivational seminars, and my roller coaster starts climbing higher and higher. And then my wife gives birth to a beautiful baby boy. My roller coaster went way up there. And that is where my roller coaster is today. So what? I'm depressed because it's going to go down again? No. It's because I understand the pattern now, and I want you to understand the pattern, because this is what's going to make your life happy or sad, all right? Now, that's the roller coaster I've ridden from the last whatever years. You notice what it does? You know why it does that? I'll tell you why. There's three things. Remember these three things. If nothing else, remember these three things. Testimony, faith, endurance. Testimony, faith, endurance. Say it with me twice. Testimony, faith, endurance. Testimony, faith, endurance. Yes. Those three things make that roller coaster. Because you know what happens if you don't have those three things? You're all going, yeah, well, that's pretty mushy stuff we've heard all of our lives. That means a lot to me. Tell you what, if you don't use those three things, your life will continue to go like this. There is no roller coaster that goes down the line like that. You're either going up, pal, or you're going down. And those three things make that roller coaster go up. What are they? Yes. And you know why? I'll tell you why. Because let's imagine this. Get a visual picture here. We're in the top of an elevator shaft. No elevator, you're just in the shaft. And you start falling. It's about a 50-story building, all right? Before you get to about the 45th floor, you stick your arms out. And you stop. And you didn't fall all the way to the bottom. You know what that is? Strength. That's your testimony, your faith, and your endurance. And you start crawling yourself back up until you get back to the top. And you're thinking, boy, I built them muscles up, didn't I? And then the next time you slip down the elevator shaft, you only stop at 30 floors. And you're going, well, I was a little stronger than I was last time. Testimony, faith, and endurance. And every time you fall, your arms get a little stronger. And you keep getting stronger, and you keep stopping a little quicker and climbing yourself up. And then guess what happens? See, every time your testimony, faith, and endurance gets stronger, the place you fall isn't quite as low. It just keeps getting higher. So you know what happens? If I take a ball and I hold this board, the bottom up higher, it just keeps bouncing higher. So the trick here is bring your bottom up. All right? Because every time the bottom comes up in the elevator shaft, you bounce back higher. And that's where your testimony, faith, and endurance come into effect. Build those three things, and your elevator will bounce back higher every time. And you know what that's called in the church? It's called eternal progression. Yes. Can you say that with me? Yes. That's what it's all about. It's your friends, or your associates, or your acquaintances, or your relatives who don't have a testimony, don't have any faith, and have zippo endurance, that each time they fall, they get a little lower and a little lower. They're going, oh man, this is just great. This went wrong. Oh my gosh, now here's another one. I can't take it anymore. I'm just getting worse. And before long, they're down and out, and they're doing what my friend did. They're shooting themselves in the back of the head in the back of a mall. Or they're dropping out of school, or they're getting pregnant early. Bring your bottom up. That's my message. Testimony, faith, and endurance. And bring your bottom up, and I can promise you, you're going to ride the world's most exciting roller coaster you've ever been on. And I say this in the name of Jesus Christ, amen.